The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Sons, go back and buy us a little more food.
Daddy, the man already warned us solemnly. You will not see my face again unless your brother's with you. If you send our brother Benjamin along with us, we will go down and buy food for you. But if you don't send him, it doesn't make any sense for us to go down because he already said to us, you will not see my face again unless your brother is with you.
Why did you bring this trouble on me by telling the man you had another brother?
The man questioned us closely about our relatives and our family. Is your father still living? He asked us. Do you have a brother? He asked us. We simply answered his questions. Do you want to lie to Pharaoh? We trying to get our lives right. How are we supposed to know he was going to say, bring your brother down here? Send the boy along with me, and we will go at once, so that we and you and our children may live and not die. I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally responsible for him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him here before you, I will bear the blame before you all my life. As it is, if we had not wasted all this time, we could have gone and returned twice.
If it must be, then do this. Put some of the best products of the land in your bags and take them down to the man as a gift. A little balm and a little honey, some spices and myrrh, some pistachio nuts and almonds. Take double the amount of silver with you, for you must return the silver that was put back into the mouths of your sacks. Perhaps it was a mistake. Take your brother also and go back to the man at once. And may God Almighty grant you mercy before the man, so that he will let your other brother and Benjamin come back with you. And as for me, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved.
Family reunions are supposed to be filled with laughs and excitement. However, in last week's episode, we saw how Joseph's family reunion went a bit more, let's say, untraditional. The famine is still ravaging the land, and food will soon run low again in the land of Canaan. Jacob will have to make a decision on whether he will send Benjamin to Egypt or not. This week's episode is centered around Genesis chapters 43 through 45, and we are continuing the story of Joseph and his family reunion.
Well, we are back with another episode of A Breath of Fresh Air, and we are continuing again. I know it's been a long ride, but thank you for bearing with us. But we are continuing again the Chronicles of Jacob. Oh, Bob, we appreciate your feedback so far. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Please like and share with a friend if you're enjoying the content that we put out. We are greatly appreciative for all of the support that we've been getting. And so this week, we are picking up from chapter 43 of the book of Genesis. And like I said, we're continuing the story of Joseph, or I keep on forgetting how to pronounce his Egyptian name.
Zapneth-Paneah.
Zapneth-Paneah.
Yeah.
Yes. The governor of Egypt, second in command only to the Pharaoh, who is in charge and leading the region, not even just Egypt, the region, ultimately the world, through this famine right now because of the plan that God gave him in interpreting Pharaoh's dream. Last week, we saw his brothers came to Egypt, and Joseph instantly recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And he gave them a proposition saying, guess what? After putting them in jail for 3 days, he said, you know what? y'all leave one of your brothers here, and the other 9 of you go home, take some grain for your household. But when you do come back, you need to bring your younger brother here so that I can verify that you guys are honest men.
Hmm.
And now we see when the brothers brought this news to their father, he was wrought with sorrow. He said, Joseph is no more. Simeon is no more. Why do you guys keep on doing this to me? Everything is against me. And that brings us to where we are now. So now, like we know from when Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream, there was going to be a 7-year famine. So now, ultimately, the grain was running a little low, as some would imagine. The reserves were drying up because there was still a famine. So I could imagine in Jacob's mind, maybe, because I don't know, granted, they would have to realize there was a famine going on, but I don't think they understood this length of the famine, because we know God gave this to Joseph and the Pharaoh to make plans for this. So obviously the rest of these nations weren't really prepared for a 7-year drought.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they really understood the severity of this famine or how long it was going to last. So now we see the Bible picks up. Now the famine was still severe in the land. So they had eaten all the grain they had brought from Egypt, and their father said to them, "Go back and buy us a little more food." Right? And now we see Judah, another notorious son.
Mm-hmm.
I think he and you can tell Judah was like, okay, you clearly missing the point.
Yeah.
Judah was like, I got to be stern with you. You, my father, I respect you, but now, sometimes you got to talk tough to your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Judah said, guess what, daddy? Let me talk to you. The man already solemnly warned us that we are not to show ourselves again unless we bring our brother with you. If you don't send our brother along with us, we will not go down and buy food. But if you will send him, then we will go. Because the man said to us, do not show your faces again unless you bring your brother. Mm-mm. So now in Joseph and in Judah's words, he's saying, daddy, now you telling us to go buy food. We already explained to you the situation that happened in Egypt last time. The governor there told us, we are not to come back unless we bring our brother. You already tell us you are not sending Benjamin. Why in the round world are we going back there without Benjamin if the man already you realize Simeon ain't here with us yet?
Right.
Simeon's still back there. Jacob waited until all the food was gone, and Reuben saying, and Judah saying, guess what, daddy, no, it doesn't make any sense. I can imagine, why am I going there to die?
Like, unless you mean talking, bring Benjamin, why are you even fixing your lips to say, go get food? It's not happening. Even if we do it, we're not going to get the food, bro. So, like, what are you saying?
Like, how does it make sense? Like we say, make it make sense, please.
Make it make sense.
And now we see, I just laugh because I just love the human aspect of this. Jacob was like, this ain't my fault, essentially. He said, the Bible says, freaking verse says, Israel asked, why did you bring this trouble on me by telling the man you had another brother?
And that's what I try to show you, bro. Everything is an attack on Jacob.
Like, why are you always playing the victim card?
That's what I'm saying. He's always the victim. Oh, why y'all do this to me? Like in the ESV, it says, why do you treat me so badly as to tell the man that you had another brother? As if that was a direct attack at me. Why you tell him that? Why you tell him that? Why? Do you hate me?
You knew it was going to hurt me if you said that. Right? I can just imagine them because they're like, are you serious? We in Egypt try to make sure we come back with green for you.
Mm-hmm. You sent us here. We was looking at ourselves. We was just looking around at each other. You disturbed us from doing so. And now you blaming us? Wow.
And they say the man questioned us closely about ourselves and our family. He asks us, is your father still living? Do you have another brother? We simply answer his questions. How are we to know what he would say, bring your brother down here? And now we see Judah speaking up again. Guess what? Send the boy. How old is Benjamin? But send the boy along with me and we will go at once. so that we and you and your children may live and not die. I myself will guarantee his safety, and you can hold me personally responsible for him. If I do not bring him back for you and set him here before you, I will bear the blame before you all my life. As it is, if we had not delayed, we could have gone and returned twice. I like how Judah said that too. Judah saying, guess what, Daddy? If we had gone already from when we first come back, we could have done make 2 trips back to Egypt and back.
Mm-hmm.
This just showing how long Jacob was really just saying, I'm not sending Benjamin. Man, in Patriarchs and Prophets, it was really showing how all the brothers was just, they was watching the food go down and they was just solemnly saying to themselves, like, dang. They all knew what was happening. They was like, no one wanted to address the elephant in the room, so to say. It was like, well, we ran out of food. And I can imagine Dan. Yeah, well, you want to tell him send Benjamin? You right. A couple next week, bro. We even low on food. Yeah, but he don't want to send Benjamin. What we doing?
Right.
And then I can see Judah was at the breaking point too when he said, go back and buy us a bit more food. We done tell you we can't go back unless we bring Benjamin. Are you bringing Benjamin or what?
Right, because Judah, she is straight to the point, bro. The man solemnly told us that's how I read it, you know?
Yeah.
The man solemnly told us we will not see his face, he will not see our face, etc., unless we bring our younger brother, bro. So what are you saying to me? You know, are you saying that you're gonna oblige? Because if not, we don't even have to have this conversation.
And I like how Judah's like, you know what? Here's my personal guarantee. And I like how he didn't say you could kill none of my children, none of that foolishness. He just say, you know what? I got the baddest burden with you, and this is between me and you. If something happened to Benjamin, and he's spelling it out for you. Like, if you had not delayed, we could have done and already handled this a long time ago. But because you being so stubborn, we in this predicament now where we have to go back for food. Oh my! And so now picking up in verse 11, their father Israel, Jacob, said to them, if it must be, then do this. Then he also told them to put some of the best products in the land in their bags and take it down with them as a gift. A little balm, a little honey, a little spices, and a little myrrh. And what's your Bible say? Because see, this Bible says some pistachio nuts and almonds too.
My Bible say, it says gum, by the way. And then it says pistachio nuts and almonds as well. But I was like, what y'all mean choice fruits? It's a famine or not, but I guess they could preserve them in some type of way.
I guess so. I mean, because honey doesn't go bad.
Yeah, I get that, but fruits.
Well, that's what my Bible say pistachio nuts and almonds. I mean, I guess they go.
All right. In the first line, it say, take some of the choice fruits. Yours don't say that? I reading from the ESV.
Oh, yeah, mine should say, take some of the best products in the land, NIV.
Okay. Well, I guess fruits is just like a blanket term. Like they say, rip the fruit of your labor and, you know. Yeah.
And then he also said, take double the amount of silver with you, for you must return the silver that was put in your sack the last time. And just say, you know what? Perhaps it was a mistake. Right. I can imagine Jacob saying, guess what now? You know, y'all say it was a mistake. I can't confirm or deny that. I just know y'all showed up back here with the green and the silver.
That's why he said what y'all done to me. He said y'all go out there and rob them. So this y'all fun, maybe. But yeah, that's funny.
And he said, perhaps it was a mistake. He said, anyway, take your brother and go back to the man at once, and may God Almighty, El Shaddai, grant you mercy before the man, so that he might let your old other brother and Benjamin come back with you. See, he cared for Simeon a little bit. You see what I'm saying? I'm mad he ain't say Simeon.
Yeah, he ain't even say your boy name.
You say your other brother and Benjamin. As for me, if I am bereaved, I am bereaved. And as much as he played a victim card at his work, because I actually feel a little sad for him.
No, but think about this though, bro.
I feel his pain.
If you don't send him, you could die of starvation. And if you send him and he don't come back, you could die of a heart attack or something. You know what I mean? So you in a lose-lose situation. So you have to take a chance now.
And And so now, so they took the gifts, double the amount of silver, and Benjamin also. And they hurried down to Egypt to present themselves to Joseph, or Zaphnath Paneah. And I mean, 'cause they didn't know it was Joseph. I mean, the Bible telling us Joseph for our benefit, but to them, they go into the governor of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny, like they have to, even if Joseph wasn't at the greenhouse when they went, they had to go seek out Joseph to get Simeon back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like the ironic part about it all. Like because they might have said to themselves, maybe we could sneak in, go to a different greenhouse in a different part of Egypt, and get the grain that we need, and then leave. And they know if they want to save Simeon, they would have to go seek out Joseph and go find him. So now they were frightened when they were taken to his house, right? Present themselves to Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them in verse 16, he said to his steward of his house, "Take the men to my house, slaughter an animal, and prepare a meal, and they are to eat with me at noon." How would you feel?
I would be so skeptical, bro. I'd be like, oh, he about to poison us or something. You know what I mean?
I would have been like Eliezer. I feel like, hey, before we do all this eating and drinking, I am here on a mission.
Yeah.
Is Simeon free to go or not?
Right.
And can we get Green to go at least? And can we at least take Benjamin back with us? Really and truly, just give us some food and we can take Benjamin back with us. Is this happening?
Yeah, no need for all of this.
At the very least, can we just send Benjamin back home?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let me know what's happening before we do all this eating and drinking, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is skeptical. This will make you feel like, yeah, let's go get circumcised, because they already know what they do. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody just go get circumcised, and while you guard down, they destroy a city. Well, they being Simeon and Levi. So now it's like we having a feast. But I feel very skeptical because why? You know what I mean? This seemed like a trap.
And like, do you do this for everyone who visits your city?
Right.
Like, why are we getting such special treatment? And so we see, picking up in verse 18, they were frightened when they were taken to his house. They thought, we were brought here because of the silver that was put in our socks the first time. He wants to attack us and overpower us and seize us as slaves and take our donkeys.
Okay.
So now let's just take a step back and paint this picture now. So everything, like we say, is playing on their consciences. They're like thinking about like, okay. For some reason, this silver ended up back in our sack. It's by God's grace alone that Father allowed us to bring Benjamin back here. Now this man says he didn't even address us. He just told the stewardess to take us to his house. Why? Why is all of this happening?
Mm-hmm.
And they saying, my goodness, now the silver show up on our side. Maybe he modded the silver. Because we see, picking up in verse 19, the first thing they do, they went to the steward and they was like, and they spoke to me at the entrance of the home. Hey, we beg you pardon our Lord. Thinking they showing this utmost respect to the
receptionist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They say we came here the first time to buy food, but at the place where we stopped for the night, we opened our socks and we found each of his silver the exact weight in the mouth of his sock. So we brought it back with us. We've also bought the additional silver for our food to buy this time. Mm-hmm. We don't know who put the silver in our socks. And the steward was like, oh, okay, it's okay. Don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, has given you treasure in your socks. I received your silver. I received your silver. Then he brought Simeon out to them. Now it's so funny, right? And think about it. These are Egyptians speaking about your God and the God of your father. You still don't think that should have been ringing a bell to them? Or being even a little bit more suspicious? Even in a foreign line, why are you acknowledging my God so much?
Because their God is notorious. We already see where Abraham, where Pharaoh takes Sarai and then he get plagues the same day. You see what I'm saying? Why you didn't tell me he was married? You know what I'm saying? Type of situation. Like we are aware of the power of your God, you know? And if they know anything about Sodom and Gomorrah, We see what your God do to that city.
Man, but this was years ago, you know.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's the same, still the same God, bro. So like we understand, if we understand that in Egypt they have this certain culture, we understand in Canaan they have this certain culture, but then we know the Hebrews have X, Y, and Z. You know? So and if that's the fox, if the fox are the fox, then that is what it is. If our God put this there, then all right, that ain't nothing crazy because we know how God is get down. You know, we know God has done miracles and stuff before. So it's like, okay, well, that's cool. You know,
And we see
I just trying to say it's like a whole other reasons outside of Joseph why God can be brought up to a Hebrew during this time, you know.
Okay.
But Joseph was always still in their mind because they know all of this toil they're going through is because of Joseph, and they acknowledging that. You feel me? Like to me, when I go through stuff and I think about stuff that I shouldn't have done, I remember I expressed to my cousin, this did not happen because XYZ happened. He like, no, bro, you're being superstitious XYZ. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't think I am. I don't think I am at all, bro. I know what I done was wrong and I didn't repent of this. And I do know that there are consequences for actions, you know? And so, you know, it is what it is. And they understood the consequence of their action. But
And so now we see Joseph kept his promise and bringing Simeon back out to them. He said, okay, if you guys come here, I'll give you guys Simeon. So the steward took the men to Joseph's house, gave them water to wash their feet, and provided fodder for their donkeys, food for their donkeys. They prepared their gifts for Joseph's arrival at noon because they had heard that they were to eat there. You see now, Joseph, like they still talking to the steward this whole time, so they ain't even really talking to Joseph. And so we see in verse 26, Joseph came home. They presented him with gifts that they had brought into the house, and they bowed before him onto the ground. And again, we see Joseph's dream come true again.
mm-hmm.
And Joseph said, hey, ask them how they were. And then they said, and he asked, how was your aged father you told me about? Is he still living? I like how Joseph is carry on. Acting so concerned, even though he really is, but just being like a nice guy. Yeah, so how's that dad you guys told me about? Is he okay? No, when he really invested in this.
Right, he's the real spy. Really, you know what I mean?
And then they say, okay, yeah, your servant is alive and well. And they bowed down, prostrating themselves before him, bowing down again to him, just like in his dream. And he looked about and he saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's own son. And he asked, is this your youngest brother, the one you told me about? And again, God be gracious to you, my son. Deeply moved at the sight of his brother, Joseph hurried out and looked for a place to weep. He went into his private room and wept there. So the joy of seeing his brother engulfed him with so much joy and passion and I guess overwhelming of emotions. He was like, dang, all he could do was cry. Like, I think it was partly like relief too, like you did not suffer the same fate that I suffered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes it's like you could feel a burden just lift off you, bro, and it comes in the form of tears. Like when the clouds get too heavy and they burst and you got rain, like you was bearing this weight so much and you have a reason to let it go now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I say, bro, like just because he was over it, that don't mean that it wasn't some hidden trauma that he was dealing with, and he did. Because nobody cares, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then he didn't have a chance to resolve until he saw his brothers. So it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm. And so, picking up in verse 31, after he washed his face, he came out and controlling himself, and he said, serve the food. They served him by himself, the brothers by themselves, and the Egyptians who ate with them by themselves, because the Egyptians cannot eat with the Hebrews because that is detestable to Egyptians. Then the man had seated before them in order of their ages, from firstborn to youngest, and they looked at each other in astonishment. Like Joseph was just playing mind games with them this whole time, bro.
He's messing with them at that point.
Because I'm like, even I'd have been like, bro, what are the odds?
Yeah. Because all of them is big, gray men, and some probably look older than they are. You know what I'm saying? Because they all were in their 40s or 50s. You know?
Exactly, bro. Because like me being a math nerd, right? The chances of arranging all those brothers in order, all 11 of them in order, is like literally 1 in 40 million.
Whoa.
Then you actually do the probability and statistics behind it.
That's crazy.
in their precise order by age.
Mm-hmm.
So you like, dang, what are the chances that he ordered us by age? And it's a direct coincidence because it ain't like you have 3 brothers. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like 3 of y'all.
Yeah.
No, it's like you have to get all 11 of us right.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you say, some might look older than the other. You know, Simeon and Levi might be a little bit more toxin in their eyes. So, you know, some people live a rough life.
They've been through stuff, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Judah might have been through some little rough stuff too, given a certain what he been through getting swing. But you know what I'm saying? So like, it's just so interesting that, and I think that's why the Bible point out too, because like it's very peculiar that they would be arranged by an order of age, because it's a very unlikely coincidence.
Mm-hmm. And they were astonished.
I'd be astonished too.
Yeah.
And so now we see Joseph, in my mind, still playing with them. He say, okay. From first one, young, and then they looked astonished. And then in verse 34, when the portions of food were served from Joseph's table, Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as anyone else.
I don't know, Benjamin felt like whoa.
Like, what's going on?
Telling you.
And also, I think it's like another test to them too. See
that's crazy.
To see how they would react.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like I said, I think in the last episode, Joseph was really just trying to see. It was like a test to see if his brothers' hearts had really changed.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy because I didn't think about that.
Because now if I show favoritism towards the younger brother, which you guys are used to seeing, I really want to see how you guys can react. Because if you guys start acting angry again, I'll be like, y'all ain't changed.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys just let it slide or have no bitter resentment towards this, then I could be like, maybe these guys probably changed. But I think it's probably a test to them. It's like, yo, how are these guys going to react? Are their hearts really changed? Because I know for sure I should be able to get a reaction out of them because of this.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That is verse 43. Yeah. Now we get to chapter 43. Now we get to chapter 44. This is a funny one.
Mm-hmm.
So now Joseph gave instructions to the stewards of the house: fill the man's sacks with food like last time, for them to carry, and in each man's sack put the silver back. Then he said, then put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest sacks, and again fill the silver for it, and fill along with the silver for his grain. And as Joseph said, the stewardess did this. So now let's think about this now. Joseph again gave them, blessings, give them back their silver. So now he really saying, okay, here's going to be another test. I'm going to put my silver cup, not in Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali. I'm not going to say the rest of their names, but I'm not going to put it in any of their bags. I'm going to put it in Benjamin's bag. And we're going to see the significance of this in a bit. So as morning dawned, the men were sent on the way with the donkeys. I guess they didn't have horses. The donkey was like the premier transportation of the day.
Yeah.
I wonder at which point horses were like,
horses become the thing.
Domesticated.
I think it was more so they might have been more expensive or something.
Possibly.
Because they put Joseph on a chariot. They put him on a chariot, and I imagine that chariot had horses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they had not gone too far from the city, Joseph ordered his steward, go after those men at once. When you catch up with them, say to them, you have repaid good with evil. Isn't this my cup from my master drinks and also uses for divination? What wicked thing have you done? What would you do in that predicament?
Who am I in this situation?
Any of the brothers. That's not Joseph.
I was taking the fall. I was taking the fall for Benjamin. Because truly, you already put your dad through a lot. And then guess what? You know what? I was taking the fall, but you know who should take the fall? Judah. Judah Betty life. Reuben too. Reuben said you could kill my sons, this and that. Y'all two got to step up for the play, bro. to the plate. But Reuben say, I'll bear the grief or whatever he say. Not Reuben. Judah said that. You know what I'm saying? So if they threatening whatever the threats is upon Benjamin, that's for you to jump in and say, no, this my burden to bear because you know the oath that you made for your father. And that's the only way your father even let Benjamin out. You know?
And so when he caught up with them, he repeated those words to them, but they said, why does my Lord say such things? Far be it for your servants to do anything like that. We even brought back to you from the land of Canaan the silver we found inside the mouths of our sack. Why will we steal silver or gold from your master's house? If any of your servants be found to have it, he will die, and the rest of us will become the Lord's slaves. I was like, okay, put your money where your mouth is.
Bro, why are they going so hard? This family just is overpromised sometimes, dog. Like,
I mean, they learn from Jacob himself.
Yeah. I'll work 7 years. I'll work 7 years for this. You know what I mean?
But even like when Laban came to him too, and Laban accused him of stealing his God, he say, if anyone amongst my household have it,
right.
kill him.
That's the same thing. Yeah, that's funny.
So now we see, they say, very well then, he said, let it be as you say. Whoever is found to have it will become my slave, and the rest of you will be free from blame. I like how even bypass the part of killing him. Mm-hmm. Just say, okay, I'll just take it as my slave. So each of them quickly lowered in his sack to the ground and opened it. They just spilling the food on the ground. I don't know. I just imagine them being in the desert walking back to Canaan. You're just going to spill the grain in the sand. I guess they could scoop it back out. But anyway, the steward proceeded to search, beginning with the oldest and ending with the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. At this, they tore their clothes. They all loaded their donkeys and returned to the city. I like how they was like, well, shoot, we can't let Benjamin go back alone. Like, I could just imagine how agonizing that whole ride back to the city was.
Boy,
it was like,
this little boy, I see why Daddy never let you out. This man is a thief. Daddy was holding him to keep an eye on him so he don't steal nothing.
The one time we let you out, the one time, and they found in your sack, like, I'll be like, I don't even know how we get there, Benjamin, but out of anybody else, why had to be your sack?
Why it had to be your sack? And I'm sure every one of them felt that way.
Like, why you?
Out of all, bro, you? Come on. You don't know how much was riding on this trip? You're supposed to be on your best behavior.
Man, like, And then so Joseph was still in the house when Judah and his brothers came in, and they threw themselves at the ground before him. Joseph said to them, what is this have you done? Don't you know that a man like me can find things out by
divination?
Divination, yeah. What can we say to my lord? Judah replied. What can we say? How can we prove our innocence? God has uncovered your servant's guilt. We are now your Lord's slaves. We ourselves are the one who was found to have the cup. But Joseph said, far be it from such thing. Only the one who was found with the cup will become my slave. The rest of you go back to your father's place.
Go, Father, in peace.
Oh, yeah, Father, in peace. Judah went up to them and said, pardon your servant, my Lord. Let me speak. This reminds me of Abram when Abram was pleading for Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, pardon me. If I may say one more thing, your Lord. Do not be angry with your servant, though you are equal to Pharaoh himself. My Lord asked his servants, do you have a father or a brother? And we answered, we have an aged father, and there's a young son born to him in his old age. His brother is dead. We have an aged father, and there is a young son born to him in his old age. His brother is dead, and he is the only one of his mother's son left, and his father loves him. Then you and your servants bring him down so you can see him myself. And we said to my Lord, the boy cannot leave his father. If he leaves him, his father will die. But you told your servant, hey, like Judah was Judah the one who was articulate the most?
That's what I'm thinking. Because Judah idea to sell him. I think Judah is the thinker out of all of them. Judah is the thinker and the talker. You know what I mean?
I just like how like Judah really reasoned with Pharaoh now. Like,
yeah, he said, consider this now in a world where you say this, we do that, we da 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 da. Like he paints in the picture, you know.
Like he is perfectly laying out this case for Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
But you told us, okay,
And then our father said, go back and buy a little food. But we said, we can't go down only if our younger brothers come with us. We cannot see the man's face until our younger brother is with us. Your servant, my father, said to us, you know that my wife had bore 2 sons. One of them went away from me.
Give out all his business.
And I said, he shall surely be torn to pieces. And I have not seen him since. If you take this one from me too, and harm comes to him, you will bring gray hair to my head. You will bring my gray hair down to misery and into the grave. So now the boy is not with us when we go back to our servant father. And if my father, whose life is closely bound up with his boy's life, sees that the boy is in there, he will die. Your servants will bring the gray head of our father down to the grave in sorrow. Your servant guaranteed this boy's safety to my father. I said, if I do not bring him back to you, I will bear the blame before you, my father, all my life. Now then, please, let your servant remain here as God's slave in the place of the boy, and let the boy return with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? No, do not let me see the misery that this would come onto my father. And then we see, just think about that. Because to me, at this point was when Joseph really started to see, I guess was like the defining moment that,
these guys change.
Yeah, these ain't the same brothers who would sold me into slavery.
Yeah, I couldn't get this type of treatment. I'm glad Benjamin ain't have to experience that. Because my whole life, right, when I saw this story, I just used to be thinking, I wonder why such a man of God like Joseph was so petty. You know what I mean? Why he playing tricks on them, he holding this one, and he giving Benjamin favoritism. But even now, it occurring to me that he needed stuff to be revealed to him. So I giving you all bait. Now, if you all bite the bait, I know y'all ain't changed. But if you all avoid the bait, then I say, y'all may have changed. And now every piece of bait, he say, if he say, watch this, if I bring y'all brother back, then y'all could be free. And that's his way of knowing that y'all ain't do the same thing to the other brother. Let me see what type of shape he in. You know what I mean? The second thing is, now if I giving him extra food. And now if y'all jealous, I can realize that y'all ain't changed. Now the third thing is, I volunteered for him to go into slavery. So it ain't even like y'all sell him into slavery, because y'all did that to the first one. Now I put him in a place where this next one go into slavery. And if y'all just okay with that, if that's what y'all secretly wanted, y'all wouldn't have fight for him. So that could prove to me that y'all ain't changed. But it's like they pass all of these tests. They keep it honest with him from the jump. And now this time they saying, no, take me instead. So this the selfless brotherly love that they exemplify, that they were supposed to exemplify. We see where when they had the sister who was defiled, they ready to kill a whole city for that. But now this brother, you understand, they kill a whole city for that. Now this brother, y'all ain't even showing him this type of love. Y'all doing the opposite. Y'all trying to kill him. And so now Joseph, he said, let me test y'all to see how y'all feel about Benjamin, and I want to see y'all true feelings. So that's why he put them through these type of tests. And it's just now I'm actually even realizing that. At first I thought Joseph he just had some unresolved anger that he wanted to, mess with their head.
Yeah, and to me it was like you say, it was Joseph really just trying to make sure his brothers' hearts were changed. I think I said that before, but it's like, just making sure, because I think the whole process, he was like guided by God too. Like God was using Joseph to administer the test to his brothers to really see how are their hearts changed. And just to like some of the things that made it sure for Joseph, just going back through this whole story so far that we talked about, it was like through this chapter, there was remarkable evidence that, his brothers actually changed for sure, because Judah, like you said, was the one who suggested they sold him into slavery. And now Judah is the one saying, guess what? Instead of taking Benjamin into slavery, we know the story's going to bring down father's out. You could take me in slavery instead. And through the whole thing, when Benjamin was given 5 times more, they didn't resent him. They stuck together even after the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. And guess what? They even trusted each other, not accusing anyone of doing wrong. Because the first thing you're going to be like, well, Dan, is it you? Naphtali, is it you? Simeon, Levi, they didn't blame no one. They say, guess what? None of us have it. We know we ain't come here to do no type of mischief. Then, granted, when it was found in Benjamin's thing, they could have just say, well, Benjamin, bye. Granted, they know none of them could show up without Benjamin, but they say they still stuck together. They still all went back to Joseph. They still all humbled themselves to before him. And they admitted what was wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they saying, yeah. Like, they still didn't admit to, like, you know, killing Joseph or selling him into slavery back then. They say, anyway, the other brother is no more.
Mhm.
This is the only one our father have left by his mother. We cannot go back to Canaan without him. And Judah was like, please take me. And you see, Judah was a man of his word too. He's saying, I made this pact with my father. Don't send me back to have me be in shame in front of my father all my life and his life, knowing that this is probably going to be the end of him. Because I can imagine just the thought of Joseph, just the flashback of the news of when Joseph died, how no one could console him. Now it's going to be uncontrollable because this is his last memory of Rachel that he has left.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we see in chapter 45, yeah, Joseph couldn't control himself no longer. I think finally seeing his brothers are changed. He like, dang, they want to go through all of this. He couldn't control himself no more. So he said, you know what? He cried out, have everyone leave my presence. So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. Which I think is powerful because, well, one, I don't think we was ready to let all these other Egyptians know, hey, I'm actually a Hebrew who's been ruling over y'all for the last.
I'm sure they knew that, bro. I'm sure they knew that.
Some people might not know though.
Yeah. But for the most part, the people who needed to know knew it.
Probably because Pharaoh might have known it, and probably the cupbearer might have known it. Because think about it, when Pharaoh introduced him to the rest of the Egyptians, I'm just imagining he was never introduced as Joseph. He was introduced as Seth-Neff-Paneah, ruler of Egypt.
Yeah, but I just thinking about how, like, when the whole story goes about, like, when they say how Israel's the promise, yeah, they brought this Hebrew slave, and then he probably don't even look like an Egyptian. You know what I mean?
Boy, I guess not, but still, I mean, his brothers didn't recognize him either, and they didn't think he was a Hebrew.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, either way, he told them all to come out of the room. He said, these my brothers. And Joseph, and he said, like, I am Joseph. Is my father? He said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still living? But the brothers were not able to answer because they were terrified of his presence.
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm just thinking, bro, because I would poop my pants, bro.
What? I would have a heart attack.
I'd be like, Joe, who? And think about it. Because how would this governor know what our allegedly dead brother's name is?
Mm-hmm.
And I think too now everything that happened so far would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why were we aligned in order?
Mm-hmm.
To Benjamin get the most food.
Mm-hmm.
Why you had such a keen interest in our father?
Mm-hmm.
Why we kept on getting our silver back?
Right.
And so now all this thing just probably hit them and was like, hold up. This Joseph? But choose the ruler of Egypt.
Mm-mm.
But hold on, this Joseph? We sold you into slavery. Like, man, that would hit them like a ton of bricks.
Bro, that's heavy. That's heavy, bro. Because I still feel sad just at the thought of, remember when they was in jail and they was like, bro, we going through this because of Joseph. You remember how he cried and he cry, help us, and we ain't listen. That's why we going through this, right? And they because you could see that touch them and I stick with them. You know, they felt guilt about that. And now considering all of that they just say in front of him, and then now the tables turn where they have all the leverage, bro. He could kill all of y'all and no one will ever even hear about it. Bro, that's a scary thing. You know what I mean? I know Benjamin probably was chilling. Benjamin probably chilling like, bro, what? I was a baby. I don't even remember you. I only heard about you.
I heard about you. I thought you were dead.
Right? Dang.
And then we see in verse 4, then Joseph said to his brothers, come close to me. When they had done so, he said, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold to Egypt. But I I don't know what I'd do, bro. And he said, now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now, so we know, okay, this is the second year of the famine. For 2 years now, there has been a famine in the land, and there are next 5 to come. So I tell you, like, they didn't know what was happening with that famine. So this even like back up that point that we said earlier.
Mhm.
He said there will be no plowing and no reaping, but God sent me ahead of you to preserve you for a raiment on earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. And like essentially saying, bro, what y'all planned for evil, God had planned for good.
And he was snotty nose while he was crying, bro. He cried so loud that all the Egyptians and Pharaoh hear him. You know what I mean? This guy was hollering. Like this was a big burden lifted off his chest.
Yeah.
And I glad I know he was happy he get to do it. It's like, bro, I don't want to be living this secret life no more, bro. I want to be reunited with my family, bro. My dreams. To see my
Reunited.
father again. I gotta see my dad again.
So you say it was not you who sent me here, but God. And next thing I just went I love Joseph, man, because like this man saying, guess what? Y'all was working a part of God's plan. I could see it now in hindsight. Like y'all ain't sent me here, God sent me here. And he made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his entire household, and ruler of all of Egypt. Now hurry back to my father and say to him, this is what your son Joseph says. God has made me lord of all Egypt. Come down to me and don't delay. You shall live in the region of Goshen and be, see Goshen, we know foreshadowing. Moses them lived there. And be near me. You, your children, your grandchildren, your flocks, your herds, all you have, I will provide for you here, because 5 years of famine are still to come. Otherwise, you and your household and all who belong to you will become destitute.
Because really and truly, you would have to have 5 years worth of money left to get 5 years worth of food, truthfully. And if you ain't saving, if you live in paycheck to paycheck, then you're luck buck, as we say in the bomber. So crazy, bro.
I mean, we must just finish out this chapter, so let's keep it going.
Verse 12. You can see for yourselves, and so can my brother Benjamin, that it is it is really I who am speaking to you. Tell my father about all the honor accorded me in Egypt, and about everything you have seen, and bring my father down here quickly. Then he threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept, and Benjamin embraced him weeping, and he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterwards, his brother talked with him. I know, bro. I know they couldn't enjoy this moment for real, bro.
No,
because of the guilt.
It's like that. I think it was like a double moment, because like the burden. You think about it, in your mind, you still probably killed your brother, or you sent him to a life to die.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, you're alive. Thank God. Now we still have to explain to daddy how you get here. So the truth still has to come out. We'll deal with that burden later, but you're alive. But then dang. And they even talk about them like, oh yeah, so when you guys sold me by the Israelites, yeah, I was a slave. Thank you. But I got this thing with Potiphar. So I was a pretty good gig. Then his wife accused me of like sleeping with him and I didn't. So I got thrown in jail. Then I interpreted some dreams again. And I came back to them, oh, you always interpreting dreams.
Yeah.
When I always try to kiss up.
Mm-hmm. I know they was kissing up hard, bro, but it's like when you owe somebody money and then you see them out and they trying to bend convo with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I happy to see you, but I really want, I wish I didn't see you because I don't want you to ask me for your money or something, And I just feel like this was probably definitely a very guilty moment for them, because now it has to be revealed that you guys sold me into slavery, because as far as our family is concerned, we don't know what happened to you. We just found your coat, So now it's their true intention. And I saw Benjamin looking at them like, y'all did what?
Mm-hmm. I think like Benjamin, that was the oldest. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's before your time.
That was before we had kids, Benjamin.
That sucks.
Yeah. And so now we see bing, bing, bing. Where we at
16.
now? Verse 16. Go for it.
When the news reached Pharaoh's palace that Joseph's brothers had come, Pharaoh and all his officials were pleased. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Tell your brothers, do this. Load your animals and return to the land of Canaan, and bring your father and your animals back to me. I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you can enjoy the fat of the land. You are also directed to tell them, do this. Take some cards from Egypt for your children and your wives, and get your father and come. Never mind about your belongings, because the best of all of Egypt will be yours." That's crazy.
It's a blessing to be a blessing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. We see how indebted to Joseph Pharaoh was.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pharaoh had so much love and appreciation for Joseph for saving the land of Egypt through this time and steering them through this crisis. That he's saying, your family, I am more than happy to bring your family here. Guess what? I will send my own supplies as Pharaoh of Egypt, king of Egypt, pretty much the top nation in the world at this time, to go bring your family back here to live in our land. And they will enjoy the fat of the land. Ain't like we putting them in no pop down place. No, you going to enjoy the best that this land has to offer. Because of you, we are in this position to do this.
You know how selfless you gotta be to say, "I given you the best of my land, and it's already an abomination to even eat with Hebrews. But I bring in all of the Hebrews, and I'm giving them the best of my land." That's crazy, you know. And I gotta give Pharaoh a lot of props, man. I gotta give this Pharaoh a lot of props, bro, because he wasn't a hater. You know what I mean? He see that Joseph had the credentials, so he gave Joseph the job that he was supposed to get. He gave him all of the perks that even he had, you know. And then he said, when it come to your family just like you to me. They like my family basically, and it's the best of the best only for them. You know, tell them, bro, your little house and whatever y'all got, don't even hurt your head over that, because we got the best in Egypt. That's a fact. You know, we was into all of that from way before y'all. We was into, you know, the great art and, you know, just all of these possessions, bro. So just remember, we got the best, bro. So don't even hurt your head about carrying everything, because it's yours. And I feel like that's what's up. That's selfless.
I know what's so funny too. You know what Pharaoh also said? Like, don't even worry about your belongings, because all the best of Egypt will be yours. Like, y'all just gotta come.
That's what I'm saying.
Once you get here, we got you. Just come.
Straight, just come. Don't hurt your head by parking up and all that, bro. You got the best waiting on you.
Like, that's powerful. So now we see the sons of Israel did this. Joseph gave them cards as Pharaoh has commanded, and he also gave them provisions for their journey. He gave each of them new clothing, but Benjamin, he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 sets of clothes.
Wow.
Hey, he had a lot of time to make up for being a good big brother.
For true.
And this is what he sent to his father: 10 donkeys loaded with the best things of Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and other provisions for their journey. And he sent his brothers away. And as they were leaving, he said to them, "Don't quarrel on the way." You say old habits never die, buddy.
No, but then truthfully, they could have still been like, I know we shouldn't have do this. You know what I mean? I know we shouldn't have sell them now XYZ. You know what I mean? They could have still been, because remember, they was in jail. They was saying, "Oh, you did this." It is pointing fingers and XYZ. So he was saying, "All right, this is a happy time now. Don't ruin it. Don't fight and quarrel on the way." You know, that's funny though.
I just think it was a nice little touch. And then so they went up out of Egypt. They came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They told him, "Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all of Egypt." Joseph was stunned.
Jacob was stunned.
And he did not believe them. But when they told him everything, Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts Joseph sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father, Jacob, revived. And Israel said, "I'm convinced. My son Joseph is alive. I will go and see him before I die."
That's crazy, bro. Jacob's so traumatic, bro. They say Joseph alive, and he faints. And he opened his eyes to see the cards. He said, "Who? Right back. I believe." I believe.
And so, like, what's powerful about that, right? At first, he didn't believe. Then he said, guess what? All this evidence here, I cannot deny that Joseph isn't alive. How much people out there, and how much times even us, we like, oh, God ain't been good to me, but we have so much evidence right in our face to say God has been good to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my, like, there's like, when you have so much evidence, you can't deny certain things, and people still try to deny them. But that brings us down to chapter 45.
See, another good note. Another good note. We see that Jacob, all of the stuff that he had went. It's like, to me, Jacob and Joseph, they have a lot of parallels. Like, or maybe not a lot, but let me just say this parallel. Hard times, but they had the big payoff in the end. You know what I mean? It's reminiscent of Job. Of course, we know specifically why Job went through what he went through, but it was a happy ending for Job. And I love happy endings. Who doesn't like a happy ending? And here we see Jacob, the man who we spoke about for weeks now. He's getting to have his happy ending, you know, by the grace of God. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing. We see how God was saying, I'm running my people through Abraham, down to Isaac, down to Jacob, and now Jacob just becomes so complex. He had so much sons, and he just had so much drama and X, Y, Z. But now we see how the people of God, the Hebrews, they had a new step. It's like things are being turned up a notch now, because we went from just being average folk to being basically wealthy folk now in the land of Egypt. We get to coexist with you all. And, you know, everybody loved a new surrounding, and Egypt was just so rich at the time. And obviously during this time, because of the famine, they were even more rich because they getting money from everybody else. They don't have to export, you know, because they had all of the money. They had all of the food and all of the harvest there. You know, it's just a blessing, you know, that the Lord restores, you know, the Lord enlarges our territory, and the Lord blesses us and keeps us. What a dream come true. In the literal sense, Joseph's once controversial dreams have now been proven to be visions from God. And as for Jacob, the Lord has certainly blessed him to be reunited with his son before he perishes. But Jacob has some blessings of his own to pass out. And let's just say not everybody made the cut. But we'll talk about Jacob's passing, his blessings, and the newly established Israelite tribes on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.